The cruiser's siren wailed like a banshee through the fog-shrouded pines, cutting sharper than any knife I'd ever felt twist in my gut. I slammed on the brakes at the edge of Willow Lake, heart pounding as dispatch crackled over the radio. Unit 7, possible trespass at Lakeside Ranch HOA Pavilion. Suspect armed with attitude, per caller. That's when I saw her. Karen Hargrove, Queen Bee of the Neighborhood Watch, waving her arms like she was directing traffic in hell. Her face twisted in that perfect storm of self-righteous fury. Little did she know, the man she just slandered to 911 was me. Alex Thompson, the new chief of police for this sleepy Montana town, and the one guy who'd finally decided to stop running from the life he'd buried under badges and broken promises. I'd rolled into Lakeside 2 weeks earlier, my beat-up Ford pickup groaning under the weight of boxes labeled, "Fragile," "Past Life," and "Do Not Open Ever." The town was the kind of place that looked like it had been airlifted straight from a Norman Rockwell painting. Crisp white clapboard houses lining dirt roads, the lake shimmering like a sapphire under the big sky, and folks who still waved from porches without checking your voter registration first. But beneath that postcard perfection lurked the HOA vultures, a flock of retirees and weekend warriors enforcing covenants like they were the 10 Commandments. And at the helm, Karen Hargrove, a bleach-blonde hurricane in capri pants, whose idea of community service was citing you for unmowed lawns at dawn. My first day on the job, the mayor, old Harlan with his walrus mustache and a handshake like a vice, slapped me on the back and said, "Alex, son, you're here to keep the peace, not stir the pot. Lakeside's got its quirks, but we look out for our own." I nodded, forcing a grin that didn't reach my eyes. Quirks? Try Ghost. I'd left Chicago after 10 years on the force, chasing shadows of a partner lost to a bullet and a family that had disowned me the day I came out. At 35, I was starting over in a town where the biggest crime was jaywalking a squirrel. That's when I met Robert. It was a Thursday, rain sluicing down the diner's windows like tears on a drunk's cheek. I ducked in for coffee black as my mood, badge still feeling foreign on my hip. He was behind the counter at Millie's Brew, all lean muscle and easy smiles, his dark hair tousled like he'd just rolled out of a dream. "New in town?" he asked, sliding the mug over with a wink that hit me like a sucker punch. Robert Hayes, 32, bartender by night, aspiring woodworker by trade, divorced from a life he didn't choose, raising a teenage niece after his sister's overdose. His hazel eyes held stories I recognized. The quiet ache of loving in secret, the weight of small-town stares. We talked for hours that night, the diner emptying around us like water down a drain. He laughed at my Chicago tales, the windy city winters that froze your regrets solid, and I hung on his words about carving canoes from reclaimed pine, shaping beauty from what others discarded. By closing time, his hand brushed mine under the counter, and something electric sparked. Not lust, not yet. Just the raw hope of connection, fragile as a first frost. The next week blurred into a rhythm. Patrols along the lake's edge, where bass jumped like they were auditioning for freedom. Town hall meetings where I nodded through budget squabbles, and stolen evenings with Robert. We'd hike the trails behind his cabin, his calloused fingers lacing through mine when the pines swallowed us whole. "You ever think about staying?" he murmured one dusk, the sun bleeding orange across the water. I pulled him close, tasting salt and pine on his lips. Our first kiss tentative, then fierce, like we were both afraid it'd vanish with the light. "Every damn day," I whispered back. For the first time since the funeral, I believed it. But Lakeside had teeth. The HOA meeting loomed like a storm cloud, Karen's monthly inquisition at the ranch pavilion, where she'd grill neighbors on everything from holiday light wattage to inappropriate displays of affection that smelled suspiciously like code for anything queer. I'd gotten the invite by mistake, slipped under my door with a sticky note. "Mandatory for all residents. Dress code enforced." Robert snorted when I showed him. "Skip it, Chief. Karen's bark is worse than her bite. Unless you're gay, then it's both." He was half joking, but his eyes darkened. He'd grown up here, hidden his truth until college, came back after his ex left him for safer pastures. I wanted to shield him from that shadow, but duty called, or so I thought. That fateful Saturday, I chose Robert over the pavilion. We'd planned a quiet day at his workshop, sanding down a cherrywood frame he swore would hold our first photo together. The alarm buzzed at noon, dispatch rerouting me to a fender bender on Route 12. But by 2, I was back, grease on my hands and Robert's laughter pulling me like gravity. We lost track of time in the scent of sawdust and sweat, his body warm against mine as we carved initials into a beam. A and R, eternal as the Rockies. Meanwhile, across the lake, Karen's meeting devolved into chaos. I pieced it together later from reports and whispers. She'd spotted my empty driveway, assumed I was flouting authority by ditching her summons. "This newcomer thinks he's above the rules," she'd shrieked, dialing 911 with the drama of a B-movie starlet. "Armed and dangerous? No, but evasive. Send someone now." The dispatcher, bless her, recognized the address but played dumb, patching it to me directly as I lay tangled in Robert's sheets, phone vibrating like a hornet's nest. I arrived at the pavilion in uniform, the cruiser's lights painting the picnic tables crimson. Karen stood there, arms akimbo, flanked by her posse of pearl clutchers. About time. This man, Alex whatever his name, is a delinquent, skipping civic duty, probably up to no good. Her voice cracked like thunder, eyes narrowing as recognition dawned. The crowd parted, murmurs rippling like wind through aspens. I stepped out, cap in hand, the weight of 20 pairs of eyes pinning me. "Evening, Ms. Hargrove. Chief Thompson here, responding to your call." Silence crashed down, thicker than the fog. Karen's mouth gaped, rouge blooming on her cheeks like war paint. "Chief? You? But the meeting." I tipped my hat, voice steady as the lake's depths. "Duty calls in all forms, ma'am. But next time maybe text before 911? Saves the drama for the theater." Laughter bubbled up, tentative at first, then full-throated. Robert, who'd tailed me in his truck, leaned against a pine, grinning like he'd won the lottery. But as the crowd dispersed, Karen's gaze lingered, poisonous, promising payback. I'd skipped her meeting for love, and in Lakeside that was the real crime. That night, over whiskey by Robert's fire pit, I confessed the fear gnawing at me. "She'll make trouble. Folks like her don't forget." He cupped my face, thumb tracing my scar, a souvenir from that Chicago alley brawl. "Then we face it together. You're not running anymore, Alex. Neither am I." His kiss sealed it, deep and unyielding, a vow against the gathering storm. But as embers died, I wondered if love could outrun hate in a town built on secrets. The days that followed were a tightrope walk. Patrols stretched longer, my radio spitting static like accusations. Whispers slithered through the grocery aisles. New chief's got a soft spot for that Hayes boy. Robert shrugged it off, but I saw the flinch when old-timers crossed the street. We stole moments, a brush of hands at the diner, a midnight drive to the lake's far shore where stars mirrored our reflections. "Remember why you came here?" he'd say, voice rough with want. "For this. For us." Yet doubt crept in like mist. My ex-partner, Jake, had died shielding me from that bullet. His last words a choked, "Love you, man," buried under department denials. I'd internalized it all. The grief, the closet, the badge as armor. Robert cracked that shell. But Karen? She was the hammer. It started small. Anonymous tips about suspicious activity at my cabin. Code for my truck parked at Robert's too often. Then the letters. Typed screeds slipped under my door, railing against moral decay and HOA violations. Karen's handwriting, I'd bet my pension. I filed them away, told myself it was noise. But when John Ellis entered the picture, the volume cranked to 11. John was Robert's best friend since diapers. Tall, broad-shouldered, with a deputy's star that gleamed like false gold. He joined the force a year back, all earnest smiles and yes, sir to Harlan. "Heard about the HOA dust up." He clapped my shoulder at the station one morning. "Karen's a pistol, but harmless. Stick with Rob. He's the best thing this town's got." His eyes held mine a beat too long, something unspoken flickering. Jealousy? Loyalty? I pushed it down, focused on the stack of reports. That weekend, Robert invited us both to his cabin for ribs and beer. A peace offering, he said, to thaw the ice with John. The air hummed with grill smoke and classic rock, John regaling us with tales of his army days in Fallujah, the scars on his knuckles stories of their own. As dusk fell, he pulled me aside by the woodpile. Rob's been through hell. Don't break him, Chief, or I will. The threat landed soft, but the undercurrent chilled me. Brotherly, or something sharper? By firelight, the three of us talked deep into the night, about loss, labels, the lies we tell to survive. John admitted his own struggles. Married young to fit the mold, divorced when the truth leaked out. I'm bi, but in Lakeside, that's just confused to most. Robert squeezed his hand, the bond between them ironclad. For a moment I envied it, the ease of their history. But as John's gaze lingered on Robert, laughing at an old joke, a seed of unease took root. Was this the calm before the betrayal? Monday brought the deluge. Not rain, but Karen's vengeance. She stormed the station like a one-woman crusade, deposition in hand, demanding I be investigated for dereliction. Harlan mediated, his mustache twitching with suppressed mirth. Karen, Alex is the law here. Let's not make this a circus. She whirled on me, eyes like chips of flint. The law? Or the loophole? I know your type, Mr. Thompson, big city slicker, bringing your lifestyle to our doorstep. The word hung, laced with venom. Lifestyle. Code for everything I'd fought to claim. I kept my cool, voice even. Ma'am, my private life's just that. If you've got a real complaint, file it proper. She huffed out, but not before hissing. Watch your back. Lakeside protects its own, from outsiders like you. The door slammed, echoing like a gavel. Robert met me at the lake that evening, skipping stones across the water, each plink a small defiance. Heard about the showdown. You okay? I pulled him into my arms, the chill seeping through my jacket. Yeah, just tired of hiding. We walked the shore, boots crunching gravel, sharing silences heavier than words. He told me about his sister, the pills that stole her away, leaving him guardian to Lily, his 14-year-old niece with braces and a sketchbook full of dreams. She asks about you, he said softly. Wants to know if you're the nice policeman who makes Uncle Rob smile. That cracked me open. Lily, fierce, freckled with Robert's hazel eyes, had adopted me during a station visit, doodling badges on my notepad. Tell her yes, I murmured, kissing his temple. And that I'm all in. But all in meant risks. John cornered me at shift change, coffee in hand like a peace flag. Karen's rallying the old guard. Petitions to oust you already circulating. His jaw tightened. She's got dirt, real or manufactured. Says you're unfit because of, well, us. The word warmed and warned. You and Rob. I probed. He shrugged, too casual. The community. Gaze whatever label. Point is, fight smart. I've got your back. Did he? That night, Robert and I made love. Not the frantic passion of new lovers, but slow, reverent, bodies mapping forgiveness. Afterward, tangled in sheets scented with him, I voiced the shadow. John. He looks at you like. Robert chuckled, tracing my chest. Like a brother. We tried once in college, drunk, dumb. Didn't stick. He's family, Alex. Nothing more. Relief flooded me, but the seed lingered, watered by doubt. The petition hit like a sucker punch. By week's end, it was town talk, recall Chief Thompson, for family values, spearheaded by Karen, signed by half the HOA. Harlan called an emergency council meeting. The town hall packed tighter than a sardine can. I stood at the podium, sweat beading under my collar, facing a sea of familiar faces. Some kind, some carved from stone. Folks, I started, voice steady. I came to Lakeside to serve, not judge. My door's open, my record's clean. If it's my being gay that's the issue, say it plain. Hiding behind petitions dishonors us all. Murmurs swelled. Karen rose, shrill. It's about order. You skipped my meeting for frolicking. With that Hayes boy, no less. Disgraceful. The room erupted. Robert in the back row stood tall, unbowed. Frolicking? Try building a life, Karen. Alex is twice the man you'll ever know. Cheers mixed with booze. John flanked him, hand on shoulder, a united front. But as eyes turned, I caught John's glance at Robert. Possessive, fleeting. The seed sprouted thorns. Council voted to table the recall, but damage festered. Graffiti bloomed on my cruiser. Chief queer. Tips poured in, fabricated vandalism pinned on me. Robert urged caution. Lay low. We'll weather it. But laying low felt like surrender. Instead, I doubled patrols, eyes peeled for Karen's next move. Came veiled as concern. A community outreach barbecue at the ranch. Invite hand-delivered by John. Truce attempt, he claimed. Show face, charm him. Robert hesitated. Trap. But I went, badge polished, smile weaponized. The pavilion buzzed. Ribs sizzling, kids chasing fireflies. Karen holding court like a dowager queen. She cornered me by the cooler. Saccharine smile. Chief, glad you could make it. Properly this time. Her eyes flicked to Robert, arriving late with Lily. Brought the family? How quaint. Lily beamed, oblivious. Robert's jaw set. John hovered, ever the buffer. Easy, Karen. We're all neighbors. Dinner blurred into toasts, forced, fizzy. As stars pricked the sky, Karen pulled John aside, whispers sharp. I watched, gut twisting. Later, alone by the lake, Robert confessed. She cornered me earlier. Said John warned her about us. For the town's good. Betrayal iced my veins. John, the brother? Confrontation brewed that night. I drove to John's trailer, knuckles white on the wheel. He answered in sweats, surprise etching his face. Chief? Trouble? I didn't mince. Karen's got your intel. You sold us out. His denial cracked like thin ice. I told her to back off, but she twisted it. Robs my heart. Alex. Always has been. If you hurt him, the pieces shattered. John's loyalty was love, unrequited, festering. You're jealous, I accused. He deflated, eyes wet. Maybe, but I'd never sabotage. Swear it. Truth or lie. I left unresolved, storm raging inside. Back home, Robert waited, worry lines deep. I spilled it all, John's confession, the fracture. He sighed. Heavy. I knew he carried a torch. Thought it faded. We clung through the night. Love a bulwark against fracture. But dawn brought worse. A body in the lake. Old man Wilkins, Karen's ally, drowned under suspicious fog. Accident? Or message? Station swarmed. I led the dive, heart leaden. Wilkins, throat bruised, no note. But his last call? To Karen. Suspicion coiled. Robert texted. Stay safe. Love you. Simple words, anchor in chaos. As evidence mounted, Karen's boat missing that night. The town polarized. Allies emerged. The diner crowd, Lily's school friends' parents. But John, he requested leave, citing personal conflict. Betrayal's sting deepened. Was he shielding Karen? Or crumbling under his own ghosts? I pushed harder, interviews relentless. Karen lawyered up, smug. Tragic accident. Don't pin your failures on me. But cracks showed. A witness spotting her arguing with Wilkins over secrets. His knowledge of her petty crimes, from forged petitions to pilfered dues. High noon on the ranch dock. I faced her, warrant in hand. Ms. Hargrove, you're under arrest for suspicion of manslaughter and obstruction. Flashbulbs popped. Gasps rippled. Robert stood witness, hand in mine, public, defiant. John watched from the crowd, face ashen, turning away. The cuffs clicked, her shriek piercing. You'll regret this, deviant. But as deputies led her off, Lakeside exhaled. Victory? Hollow with trust shattered. That evening, Robert and I walked the shore, Lily skipping stones. We made it, he said, arm around me. But John's shadow loomed, unresolved, a wound. The interrogation room smelled of stale coffee and regret. Fluorescent buzz drilling into my skull like a bad hangover. Karen sat ramrod straight, lips pursed thinner than a dime, her lawyer. A slick Billings import. Shuffling papers like a card sharp. My client's cooperation ends here, Chief. No comment. But I'd seen her type crack under steady eyes, so I leaned in, voice low. Wilkins knew too much, didn't he? Your little empire of spite, embezzling dues for that lake house facelift. He threatened to spill, so you wrote him out, held him under. Foggy night, easy cover. Her facade splintered, just a hair, nostrils flaring. Lies. He slipped, drunk fool. The lawyer interjected, but damage bloomed. Forensics had boat fibers on Wilkins' jacket, matching hers. By midnight, she folded, plea bargain inked. Manslaughter, fraud. The town awoke to headlines. HOA hell, Karen's fall from grace. And for once, my name wasn't mud. Cheers echoed at Millie's that morning. Locals slapping my back like I'd slain a dragon. Robert slid me eggs over easy, his kiss lingering under the counter. Hero, he murmured. Lily high-fived from a stool, crayon badge pinned to her shirt. But elation soured quick. John's cruiser gone from the lot, his locker cleaned out. A note on my desk. Needed space. Sorry for everything. Take care of him. Cowardice or conscience. I crumpled it, ache blooming. Robert downplayed it over lunch at his cabin. Lily napping inside. John's pride's bruised. He'll circle back. But his eyes betrayed hurt, the betrayal of a brother choosing silence over solidarity. We spent the afternoon carving, my hands clumsy on the chisel, shavings curling like unanswered questions. What if he tips Karen's crew? I voiced the fear. Robert set down his tools, pulling me close. Then we fight. Together. His embrace mended fractures, bodies aligning in quiet rhythm. Intimacy as rebellion, love as law. Patrols resumed, but Lakeside felt altered. Wary glances softened to nods, graffiti scrubbed clean. Harlan promoted a replacement deputy, young, green, but straight arrow. You did good, Alex. Town's yours now. Pride swelled, tempered by isolation. Evenings with Robert deepened. Shared suppers of venison stew, stories swapped like treasures. He spoke of his woodshop dreams. A co-op for at-risk kids, teaching craft as catharsis. You in? He asked, firelight gilding his face. Hell yes, I replied, sealing it with a kiss that tasted of forever. Yet John's ghost haunted. Rumors trickled. He'd holed up in Bozeman, drowning sorrows in dive bars. I drove up once, unannounced, the interstate blurring like old regrets. His motel room reeked of bourbon and regret. He answered hollow-eyed, unshaven. Go away, Chief. I didn't. We talked till dawn, raw, ragged. I loved him first, John admitted, voice cracking. Watched him hide, hurt for him. When you showed. It gutted me. Not sabotage, he swore. No leaks to Karen, just his own unraveling. I'm sorry. For the threats, the distance. Forgiveness? Partial. Prove it, I challenged. Come home. Be the friend he needs. He nodded, tentative. Back in Lakeside, reconciliation brewed slow. John returned to the force, tentative shifts overlapping mine. Awkward coffees led to laughs. Old war stories, shared scars. Robert watched wary, but thawed when John gifted Lily a whittled horse. For the girl who tames wild things. The trio mended, not seamless, but strong. Love's mosaic, cracks gilded. Summer crested, lake swelling with tubers and tails. Our first real date. A picnic on the far shore, blankets spread under cottonwoods. Robert unpacked gourmet, aged cheddar, wild berries, laughing when I confessed my PB&J roots. As sun dipped, he turned serious. Alex, I've been scared. Of this, of us lasting. Vulnerability cracked me. Me too. Jake's ghost. It whispered I'd lose you too. Tears traced his cheek. I kissed them away. We're not ghosts. We're here. That night, under stars vast as hope, we vowed. Rings later. Maybe, but hearts entwined now. Idol shattered mid-July. A call at 3 a.m. Cabin fire, Roberts. Sirens screamed. I raced, gut churning. Flames licked the roof, acrid smoke choking the night. Fire crew battled. I searched the perimeter, badge useless against fear. Robert emerged, soot-streaked, Lily coughing in his arms. Arson, the captain confirmed later. Accelerant traces, back door jimmied. Karen, locked up, but her echoes lingered. A disgruntled HOA holdout, egged on by whispers. Suspect? John's name surfaced. Alibi shaky, seen arguing with Robert days prior over old flames. Coincidence? Or fracture reopened? I grilled him at dawn, station empty save echoes. Me? Torch my brother's home. Fury blazed in his eyes. Check the logs. I was on patrol, time-stamped. Truth held. Cameras confirmed. But the seed, once dormant, poisoned soil. Trust eroded. Glances sharpened. Deeper dig unearthed the real culprit. Eddie, Karen's nephew. A bitter ex-con paroled early. Motive? Payback for her arrest. Pinning it on the gay chief. We nabbed him at a roadhouse, reeking of regret. Justice swift, but scars lingered. Robert's workshop ash, our sanctuary raised. Rebuild became mantra. John swung hammers beside us, sweat mingling with apologies unspoken. I failed you both, he admitted one dusk, nails biting palm. Robert clapped his shoulder. Family forgives. Always. The hug lingered. I turned away, unease flickering. Was it closure or kindling? Fall painted the lake gold, leaves drifting like confessions. Lily's birthday, a lakeside bash, canoes bobbing, cake smeared on cheeks. John arrived with a handmade ark, crafted from rebuild scraps. For voyages, he toasted, eyes on Robert. Gratitude warmed, but undercurrent tugged. A brush of hands, too familiar. That night, alone, Robert sensed my storm. John's healing, let it be. But sleep evaded. Dreams tangled, fire, faces blurring. Betrayal specter, not from John, but within, my fear of losing, projecting shadows. Winter whispered in snow veiling sins. Holiday lights twinkled defiant. Our first Christmas. Trees strung with whittled ornaments. Lily's laughter bell-like. John joined, tentative, then full, sharing eggnog tales of boyhood sled races. Bonds solidified, but I caught Robert's gaze lingering, old affections stirring. New Year's Eve, lake frozen silver, we skated, gloves clasped, breaths clouding vows. This year, no hiding, Robert said. I nodded, but John's laugh echoed too close. A third wheel turning. Spring thaw brought bloom and bloom of doubt. A letter arrived, anonymous. He's playing you both. Choose wisely. Enclosed photo. John and Robert, college days, arms slung, lips near. Ancient history, or rekindled. Confrontation crashed like waves. I showed Robert, his face paled. Old news. John's moved on. But eyes darted, guilt? I stormed to John's, door slamming. What game? He recoiled. None. That's manipulation. Karen's crew, stirring shit. Proof? Slim. Tension crackled, he grabbed my arm. Believe us, or lose everything. I walked, heart fractured. Love's high wire teetering. The anonymous poison seeped deep, turning every glance to accusation. Robert's touches felt tentative, John's presence a live wire. I buried in work. Endless shifts. Lake patrols solitary as my thoughts. Lakeside buzzed oblivious. Fishing derbies, farmers' markets fragrant with pie and possibility. But my world narrowed to suspicion's prism. Colors warped. One rainy afternoon, dispatch pinged. Domestic at the Hayes cabin. My pulse spiked. I floored it, wipers slashing sheets. Arrived to shouts. Robert and John, faces thunderous. Lily huddled with a neighbor. He thinks I'm lying. Robert exploded as I stepped in. John paced, fists clenched. Tell him the truth about us now. Truth? The photo burned in my pocket. It spilled. Not betrayal, but a pact. John and Robert post-college. John outed by a jealous fling. Robert shielding him from small-town scorn. They'd faked a romance, brief and staged, to deflect rumors. I kissed him once, for show. Robert confessed, voice raw. Never more. John's straight now, married that girl from Missoula, loved her true. The photo? A setup to throw off the wolves. John nodded, deflated. I ended it because it wasn't real. For him. And now, I'm happy for you too. Swear on Lily's life. Relief crashed, title. I pulled Robert close, rain drumming forgiveness. Idiot. I doubted us. John slipped out, giving space, true brother at last. That night, we rebuilt trust in whispers and warmth. Bodies reaffirming what words couldn't. Love, resilient as pine roots. But the letter's shadow lingered. Who sent it? Traced to a P.O. box in Billings. Rented under Eddie's alias. Karen's tendrils even caged. I visited her in county, plexiglass between. Stirring ghosts. Ms. Hargrove? Tired game. She smirked. Unrepentant. You'll slip, chief. Lakeside's blood runs pure. Venom. But hollow. Her empire crumbled. Allies scattered. Summer redux brought healing. Rebuild complete. Robert's shop reborn. Brighter. With a Thompson and Hayes Creations sign. Our mark. Lily apprenticed. Tiny hands sanding dreams. John dated. A quiet teacher from town. Sparks genuine. Dinners quadrupled. For now, laughter weaving family. Yet high tide tests shores. August heat wave. Lake low. Tensions simmered elsewhere. A string of thefts, boats, tools plagued the ranch. HOA remnants blamed outsiders. Code for me. John and I teamed up, stakeouts under stars. We're good now, he asked one night, binoculars lowered. Yeah. I clapped his back. Brothers in arms. Ease returned, forged in fire. Robert proposed expansion. A pride float for the county fair. Subtle, rainbow canoes, paddle your truth. Town balked. Harlan mediated. Lakeside's evolving. We built it anyway, Lily painting waves of color. Debut day. Floats gleaming. Our entry third, cheers tentative. Then roaring. Karen watched from afar. Paroled early for good behavior. Face sour as lemons. But a kid in the crowd waved a tiny flag. Progress, pixel by pixel. Fall harvest, crimson maples framing the lake. Our anniversary. A vow renewal informal. Harlan officiating on the dock. John best man. Lily flower girl with wildflowers. In sickness, health, and HOA hell. Robert quipped. Rings sliding warm. Tears blurred. I kissed him fierce. Till the pines fall. Winter gripped gentle that year. Snow soft. Holidays hearth warm. John's wedding. Spring. Lakeside. Ushers in tuxes. Robert stood proud. I caught the groom's eye. Gratitude silent. Profound. Lily caught the bouquet, giggling. My turn next. But by kitsch loomed, unbidden. Spring floodwaters surged. Swollen by melt and storm. Lake rose wrathful, swallowing docks. Threatening cabins. Evacuations chaotic. I coordinated. Bullhorn horse. Robert's place first hit, water lapping foundations. Go! I urged. Sandbags futile. He refused. Lily in arms. Not without you. John arrived, truck roaring, hauling evac gear. Together we waded, currents clawing, debris whipping. A beam snagged Lily's leg. She screamed. Robert dove. John and I hauled, muscles screaming. Wave-crested, massive, merciless. It took John, sucking him under like a thief in night. Diver recovered him hours later, too late. Lakeside mourned. Funeral under pines. Casket pine carved by Robert's hands. Eulogy mine. John Ellis, brother, guardian. The quiet hero who chose love over lies. He saved us in the end. Robert shattered beside me, sobs wrenching. My fault, stayed too long. I held him through nights blurred by grief, whispering. He chose. For you. For family. Katrina's trial, wait, no, Karen's shadow play. Faded irrelevant. Flood receded. scars etched. Rebuild communal. Town halls for resilience, pride woven in. Robert channeled ache into art. John's canoe, launched on anniversary, carrying wishes downstream. Summer solstice, lake calm as glass. We scattered ashes at dawn, Lily's hand in ours. He's free, she said, wise beyond years. Robert nodded, eyes clearing. Like us. Grief's tide ebbed slow, leaving shores reshaped. Robert withdrew into whirls of wood shavings, chisels his confessor. I patrolled wider, badge heavier, John's absence a void in the cruiser's passenger seat. Lily bridged us, her sketches of Uncle Jay pinned like talismans. Him laughing, mid-carve, eternal. He'd want pie, she'd declare, dragging us to Millie's, forcing normalcy with sprinkles. Lakeside grieved collective. Memorial bench by the dock, plaque etched, for the man who held the line. Dedication drew crowds. Harlan's speech folksy, tears unashamed. Karen lurked periphery, subdued, her barbs blunted by loss. Even she laid a stone, whispering, fool boy, always meddling. Redemption, fleeting. Robert resurfaced gradual. First a smile at Lily's recital, then a hike where he laced fingers mine. Missed this, he murmured, wind tousling hair. We talked John, not maudlin but honest. The college pack's weight, how it bound them tighter than romance. He envied us, Robert admitted. Found peace in your light, forgiveness full. Then, love's alchemy, turning pain to gold. Fall-painted pennants, harvest moon festivals, bonfires crackling confessions. Our float evolved, now waves of remembrance. Canoes strung with lanterns for lost souls. Town embraced, floats merging colors. A young couple, hand in hand, thanked us post-parade, gave us courage. Ripples, Robert called it John's legacy. Winter whispered second chances. Harlan retired, tapping me mayor pro tem. Steady hand, Alex. Town needs heart. Oath on the lake, Robert pinning badge, Lily cheering. Duties doubled, but purpose sharpened. Ordinances for flood-proof homes. Inclusivity clauses in HOA charters. Karen, voted out, replaced by a quiet widow with a gay son. Irony sweet. Spring bloomed defiant. Robert's co-op opened, kids hammering hope. Troubled teens from county, carving futures. Lily mentored, braces gleaming. Like Uncle Jay, she beamed. John's canoe hung centerpiece, or engraved, paddle on. Yet undercurrent tugged. Robert's distance, subtle nights staring lakeward, sighs heavy. What haunts? I pressed one eve, fire dying. He hesitated. Then guilt. If I'd left sooner. I cupped his face. Stop. He chose joy, yours, ours. Kiss deepened, but eyes held storms. Summer solstice again. Anniversary shadowed. We launched lanterns, wishes aflame. Peace for John. Strength for us. Lily's first. More uncles? Laughter cracked grief. But post-ritual, Robert pulled back. Alex, I need time. Alone. Heart plummeted. Why? Truth cascaded. Grief unearthed fractures. His hidden doubts. Fear of loss echoing his sisters. You're my anchor, but I'm adrift. Travel? Clear head. Solo? Panic clawed. With me. He shook head gentle. Just me. Weeks maybe. Love you always. Bags packed on. Kiss farewell salt stung. Truck faded. Dust settling like finality. Solitude stung. Lily stayed. Fierce guardian. Sleepovers, story hours. Patrols blurred days. Nights, lake mocked. Empty horizons. John's bench became confessional. Buddy, how'd you know when to fight? When fold? Wind whispered nothing. Weeks stretched. Postcards trickled. Yellowstone geysers like bottled hope. Tetons, towering reminders to bend. Love signed each but ache gnawed. Town noticed. Rob back soon. Nods lied easy. Crisis crested mid-July. Flash flood redux, smaller but savage. I led response, drenched, directing dams. Call Robert, early return, racing to help. Convergence at the breach. His truck skidding, leaping out, sandbags flying. "Won't lose this too," he yelled over roar. We shored together, hands mud-caked, eyes locked. Reunion forged in fury. Flood quelled. We collapsed dockside, exhausted, entwined. "Missed you," he breathed. "Saw clear, home's you. Us. Vow renewed. Raw. No more solos." Lily hugged fierce. "Took long enough." Fall mended. Co-op thrived. First sale. A table for Harlan's successor. Holidays haloed. Tree trimmed with John's whittlings. Gifts wrapped in gratitude. Karen. Surprise visit. Pie apology mumbled. "Lost my way. Sorry." Door ajar, perhaps. Winter waned. Spring stirred deeper. Robert proposed formal. Doc. Dawn. Ring whittled walnut. "Marry me, Chief? Make it legal, lakeside style." Knees buckled. Yes choked out. Wedding planning whirlwind. Small, intimate, July 4th. Fireworks finale. But by Kitsch's thread tugged final. Rehearsal eve, old letter resurfaced. Eddie's stash. Overlooked. Not just photo. Diary scraps. John's hand. Loved Rob true once. Let go for his happiness. If only. Unsent confession, his sacrifice silent. We burned it together. Ashes to lake. Rest now. Wedding dawn broke golden. Lake lapping benediction. Lakeside gathered. Folding chairs on shore. Wildflowers woven arches. Lily ring bearer. Beaming in sundress. Harlan officiant. Mustache merry. Guests mingled, diner crew. Co-op kids. Even Karen. Subdued in back row. Clutching hanky. Vows simple. Sea salted. Through floods and fires. I choose you. Rings exchanged. Walnut bands. Engraved A and R infinity. Kiss sealed. Cheers erupted. Fireworks later echoed joy. Honeymoon local. Cabin retreat. Robert's craft night stargazing. Days canoeing John's namesake. Our voyage, he whispered, paddle dipping. Lily visited, splashing stories. Return brought routine renewed. Mayoral duties, shop expansions. Patrols partnered with new deputy. John's protege, Ernest Echo. Challenges lingered, human weave. Co-op kid, Jamie. Troubled teen, outed harshly, ran. Found refuge lakeside. We mentored Robert's tools, my talks. You're safe here, I said. He stayed, carving first piece. Fractured heart, mended gold. Kintsugi, Robert called it art of breaks. Fall fair grander. Pride Pavilion now, booths on allyship, stories shared. Karen volunteered. Awkward, but earnest. Handing flyers. Lakeside welcomes all. Growth grudging. Winter whispered legacy. Lily turned 15, braces off, braces for dreams. Art school, maybe. Like Uncle Jay, she said, portfolio brimming. Robert teared. I hugged proud. John's bench expanded. Plaque for all guardians. Spring flood prep, town drills, resilient. Robert's design, elevated docks, community arcs. Test launch. Us aboard, Lily helming. To new horizons. Toast raised. Summer crested content. One eve, porch swing creaking, Robert leaned head on shoulder. Remember that skipped meeting? Best choice ever. Laughter bubbled. Karen's 911? Our meet cute. Hindsight gilded. Yet depth plumbed. Anniversaries marked John. Lantern sales. Toasts to sacrifice. He gave us this, Robert said. Truth settled. Gentle. Years blurred, benevolent. Lily college bound. Visits frequent. Co-op franchised sister shops in Bozeman. Billings. Mayoral term ended. I stepped back, consulting badge honorary. Robert and I traveled light. Road trips, reclaiming roads. Old age crept graceful. Silver threading hair, lake still sapphire. Rocking chairs on rebuilt porch, hands laced. Regrets? He asked one sunset. None. You? Smile crinkled eyes. Skipped that meeting? Best damn day. Karen passed quiet. 90s. Surrounded by unlikely friends. Including us. Eulogy Roberts. She learned late, but learned. Mercy's the real law. Lily's wedding. Lakeside Echo, her groom artist. Canvases bold. We danced, gray but giddy. Grandkids came. Hazel-eyed mischief, whittling tiny boats. Final winter, snow soft as memory. Robert faded gentle, heart, worn by giving. Bedside vigil. Lily, me, stories swirling. Love you, last whisper, hand squeeze eternal. Lake view framed his peace. Grief revisited, but seasoned John's echo softer. I scattered ashes dawnside, canoe gliding. Paddle on, loves. Lakeside endured. Bench eternal, co-op thriving. Pride woven fabric. I patrolled honorary old cruiser, stories for new chiefs. Choose love, advice staple. It's the only arrest that sticks. Dusk falls now, lake whispering. I sit John's bench, Robert's ring glinting. No regrets. Life's hook sunk deep, reeled full. In America's heart, under big sky, love's the chief legacy.